Це 202.
Today is the day 226th day into the full-scale Russia-Ukraine war. My name is Vasil Semakhvala. We are beginning our next prep opportunity. We are talking to Serhii, who is the Kherson Regional Council member. Welcome, sir. We are from Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Sir, I would like to ask you if there are news from the front line that you could share with us. We would appreciate that. Otherwise, we can begin our talk from the point 2, the liberated villages. What is the situation there? How many people are staying? What are their needs? And how these villages are being reintegrated into Ukraine. The counteroffensive is taking place step by step. We are liberating the Ukrainian land. The Kherson region and the southern part of it are suggesting how Ukrainian military powerful are. We have heard about the liberated settlements, and then we have the official information, as it happened yesterday, that another village has been liberated, substantiated by the photographs on the social network. But we have not been informed officially, so I will not be talking about that. What we know for sure is the Ukrainian military are advancing, liberating the occupied native land. As for the deoccupied villages, day in and day out, we see the growing number of those. The situation is too complex to describe. Why is it? It is because the liberated villages have almost completely been destroyed. People who have been under occupation were waiting for the Ukrainian military to liberate them in their cells, in the cellars. And once the Ukrainian forces have arrived, they gleefully met our military coming into the villages and liberating them. The humanitarian situation is extremely complex in terms of the food, of the available services, including electricity, which is virtually unavailable in those cities, and we are working on the project to provide electricity to the people who are now living in the deoccupied villages. And effectively, we are helping them with the building materials. You see, we are facing the winter period, and we are likely to begin the renovation works, repairing their homes and roofs, providing the food and the wood to keep warm. This is what the local authorities are engaged in. They are working in the deoccupied villages, and hence the regional administration is helping people of the liberated territories. We are also receiving financial aid from the state. Of course, this is not enough, but people still have some resources available. Today's high point on the agenda is to help people in humanitarian terms and to help them live through the winter, for them to be able to enjoy normal, more or less normal life. I'm going back to your mentioning of the living through the winter. Of course, there are few people there. Villages have been ruined. Does it make sense to begin the renovation work since these cities are close to the front line? Or alternatively, you should think about getting people evacuated. When we talk about the common sense, of course it makes sense to get people evacuated and provide temporarily shelter for these people. But what I am saying is that in one of the liberated villages in the Kherson region, we offered people to get relocated. We found a place for them where they would receive humanitarian aid, and they categorically refused. Their message was that we have been here in the most difficult of times. We have lived through the invasion of the Russian fascists. So there is a category of people who are categorically refusing to leave their homesteads. Of course, we should persuade them that they should go elsewhere to live through the winter, but we should take on board the opinion of the people who categorically refuse to go away from their homes. These people should be helped. They should be helped in terms of living through the winter, for them to have something to eat, to enjoy electricity. This is their wish to stay where they belong. Accordingly, there must be some resources available for these villages. Civil authorities including, meaning that some managers should be appointed. It means that it will be legislated at the heads of the military and civil administrations when and in what manner the Ukrainian authorities will come back. The managers of the civil and military administration have been appointed. They have been working. They are part of the regional civil military authorities, and the local authorities are there. They are working, and they are called to coordinate, and they are doing their job in terms of coordinating the humanitarian aid and monitoring the humanitarian situation. It's not that they should be appointed. They have been appointed. Questions from the floor. Ukrinform agency. We have the news from your region that the invaders have begun some steps to mobilize Ukrainian citizens. How massive that step has been? Are they trying to get the list of people, of men available there? There is also information about apart from that census, that they are gathering information of the Ukrainian children and school children. Could you dwell on that, please? On the census issue, the mobilization is not effectively taking place. Not a single call-up paper has been served. But last week, or rather this week, has seen the so-called bogus census. The representatives of the occupying forces were going door to door, and the local people informed us about this. They saw the door-to-door visits to provide for the census, and they were special attention of the men older than 18 years old. So their aim was to find men of the call-up age, but they didn't serve any call-up papers. They announced something about the voluntary battalions. That was done by the main collaborator, Mr. Saldo. He also informed about the people willing to join their invading forces. No one has seen those battalions of volunteers. To underline, the census is going on, targeting the grown-up men. On the second issue, a couple of days ago, we heard the situation that took place on the 5th of October to the effect that starting the October the 6th, the occupying forces announced the so-called holidays. We know what they're meaning. It is their attempt to recognize that the educational process cannot be organized in the occupied territory. Our teachers, the majority of those, have refused to cooperate with the Russians, and the majority of parents didn't take their children to school. This is why the Kherson State University was closed, and they were trying to spin the work of the local universities. They said that people would be enrolled into the student population, will be paid fellowships with no exams, nothing, but they were unable to attract people. As for the information on the school holidays, what is most important here is that the occupying forces announced that for the period of holiday they want to take children to the occupied Crimea. Once we heard that kind of information, we began to inform the dwellers of the Kherson region not to allow their children to go to the Crimea. We saw the same situation in the Kharkiv region. In the deoccupied parts of that region, the occupiers did not return the children back to their homes, the children that were announced to have been taken for the rehabilitation procedures. This is what they're doing. After the deoccupation, children will be used as the tool of blackmailing. Thank you very much. There are no more questions. We have been informed by Serhii Khlan, the Kherson Regional Council member. The next opportunity will take place at 12:30. We will be talking in person with Katerina Chueva, the Deputy Minister of Culture and Information Policy of Ukraine. We will focus on the legacy and war, the experience of the war. Thank you, and stay tuned.